We did it again. Verizon was just named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics for the 16th time in a row, proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon builds networks. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network, Verizon. Best and most reliable based on Root Metrics reports from second half 2013 to first half 2021 of 3 operators on all network types combined, not specific to 5G networks.
Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the re-sculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.
Hey, and welcome to the Hypothalamic Amenorrhea podcast, an adulting advice podcast production. I'm Danny Sheriff, and this is the place to come if you care about getting your period regularly. This podcast aims to educate, inform, and keep you motivated on your period and HA recovery track. Let's dive in. And quick disclaimer, guys, I am not a doctor, and this content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice.
Just a bit of
Always seek the
housekeeping
advice
before we
of
dive
your
into
physician.
today's episode with Cynthia. The HA Society opened on Thursday last week, and I have decided to only open it once a month. So the HA Society is a group where women come together. We do weekly community calls. There are events every week with a different kind of practitioner, whether it be in mindfulness, whether it be a dietitian, and we just all bond and connect over our HA recovery journey. It is not a program or any kind of step-by-step course. It is just a community. Think of like a Facebook group, but on steroids, that you can just be face-to-face every week and ask questions directly to other women who are going through what you're going through. So I decided that I want to close the group every month and only open it for 1 week a month, because I really want to be able to spend time in the group, investing it in the group, and really making it the best it can be. So now I only have to, announce and go through the member welcome process and everything once a month versus every single day, which I feel like is very, in line with all of our periodness. And what I've also decided is not just to open it on, an arbitrary day of the month, which I totally could do, but I wanted to have some fun and open it on every new moon of every month, because 50% of us cycle with the moon, apparently. And I just think it would be really cool to, if you want to join, start this new thing on the new moon. It just symbolizes new beginnings. So the next new moon is October 16th. So the HA Society is currently open if you're listening to this live, and it's going to close on Friday evening, US time, which is Saturday morning, Australian or Southern Hemisphere time. So if you're interested, make sure you go to thehasociety.com and join before then. Otherwise, you can still go to thehasociety.com, but you'll get on the wait list, and I will email you directly and let you know that it is open again. So head on over thehasociety.com and join up today, and we'll see you in the group. Okay, guys, have a good day.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the HA podcast. I'm very excited today to have Cynthia Donovan with us. She is a period nutritionist. Cynthia, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Danny. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm really excited as well. The response we've been getting to just the first few, we've only released 4 episodes now, but just the first few episodes with, professionals who know what they're talking about is just so valuable to all of the listeners. So I know that this is going to be a really, really helpful episode, because we're going to be getting into mindset shifts and a lot of the common things that, or inner dialogue that we have with ourselves. And something that you do so well is help people make shifts to that inner dialogue. So could you tell the listeners a little bit about you and who you are and how you got tangled up in all of this mess?
All right. Thank you, Danny. So Yes, to make a very long story a bit shortened, because I think I could talk about my entire journey for 50 minutes, I will keep it short. So, I was diagnosed with hypothalamic amenorrhea or missing periods many years ago, probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And I had no idea that I had it, but my background was I was always the fit girl at the gym, Cynthia, the healthy dietitian, the girl that was so disciplined, the girl that was so healthy that I actually drove myself unhealthy. My period was gone and I wanted to have babies, and it wasn't possible without my period unless I sought fertility treatment. So, 10 years ago, I became a dietitian for, I would say at the time I didn't know it, but for the wrong reasons. And I was putting people on diets, helping them achieve weight loss. But through my own struggles with disordered eating and twisted views on what healthy really means, I came to find the true purpose of my personal life and professional career, and that is helping all of you out there recover from missing periods through changes in the way you eat, changes in the way you exercise, and also through stress management. So, for the past 5 years, I've helped women across the world regain their period, find balance with food and exercise so they can really live the life they were meant to live.
Oh, I love it. That last bit really resonates with me as well. I feel like that's so much of it is my mission as well. You just don't realize how much of life you're missing out on. And I mean, I go off on tangents about this on a few of the other episodes, but how we think we're not interested in those things anymore that we used to be, like creativity and socializing and stuff, because we put it aside thinking we have to be dieting and exercising. And we just forget that we have
Yeah.
this whole other life that we were meant to be living.
Totally. And that was
Yeah, I love it.
the epitome of me where, sorry, I can't hang out tonight. Got to wake up early and go to the gym. And, I don't want any woman out there to feel guilty about this, because when it's happening, you are really only trying to do the best for yourself. You're trying to get healthy. You're trying to follow society's norms, but yet those society norms are the things that are driving us to this unhealthy place of missing our periods.
As a period nutritionist, what makes you different to, a regular, or we'll say nutritionist who just specializes in all the things and takes on clients for all kinds of different health concerns?
That is a great question. So, for me, like I mentioned before, I was that general dietitian where I put people on diets, or maybe they had an upset stomach, and we talked about dietary lifestyle changes and all that. So, really, for me, as a nutritionist who really specializes in missing periods, it's completely different, because I am helping you eat more. I am helping you really realize that all foods are good foods. There's no foods that are off limit. There's no foods that are bad foods. And that food is just food. And that exercise should be joyful, and it shouldn't have to be in your every single day life for you to feel complete as a person. So, other dietitians or nutritionists, I can't speak for all of them, but they are diet related. And unfortunately, that's what we were taught in college, that, you put people on diets, energy in versus energy out. And that's what makes somebody, a healthy individual. But, I've come to consider myself a non-diet dietitian, where all foods fit, and all movement is supposed to be joyful, and you're not supposed to feel guilty if you eat certain foods or don't do certain exercises.
Right. So you take away a lot of the morality behind food and exercise, and yeah, I love that. Okay. Thank you. So a lot of nutritionists then would typically come from a place of like, here's what's up with you. Here are maybe the foods that will help you go for gold and eat these things and take these supplements, perhaps. But with what you do is a lot of, I suppose, coaching, would you say?
Yes. Yep,
Yeah, which
absolutely.
I feel like is a little different. To having an appointment with your nutritionist is a bit different to like working with the nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to dive into the mindset shifts for clients, because this is huge. Like, some of the majority of the DMs I get are like, hey, I really want to recover. I know what I need to do. I'm eating all this food, but I just can't get past the insert mindset issue, right? Like, I can't get past the opinions of others impacting how I feel about myself, or I can't get past like feeling anxious about not working out, or like I eat so much every day and I feel sad. Like, this is so common. And I said recently to a friend, like, HA recovery is easy. It's the mental side that is hard.
Absolutely.
So would you be down for us to go through a couple of, I guess, case studies of like common questions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I do, you bring up such an important point, because most of us do know that we need to eat enough. We need to rest our bodies and de-stress. So we know that is the recipe for a period, right? But it's that mindset shift, that mental aspect of it. And so that's what I do with all of my clients, is we really dig deep. Why did you lose your period in the first place? So we start there, and I say, we work on that, and then the period comes. So it's almost like a bonus. You get a period and you get to heal your mindset and not worry about having to lose your period again in the future. So so let's dig into that a bit.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. At the end of the day, so these are all ones that everyone has thought before, almost everyone has thought before. So you get to the end of the day, HA recovery, you've eaten all the food, just like you're, supposed to, you've filled your body, but now you're sitting there and you feel like you ate way too much. And all of this like guilt is setting in, and this uncertainty and this fear. What do I do?
Yes, this is a very common thing and really great question that we'll go over. So really, for each woman, when she starts her period recovery journey, it's different. She could be at a different weight. She could be in a different mindset when it comes to food. But really, in the beginning of HA, chances are we're definitely not eating enough, and we're eating very, clean or a strict diet. So we often will feel extremely full because we are not used to eating those specific foods or that amount, of food. So ways to really, fight that is to focus on high calorie foods. So I'm just going to give you a little bit, of advice and then talk about the mindset shift, but really focus on those high calorie foods, such as whole dairy, nut butters, avocados, things that will pack more calories in a smaller amount, so it won't leave you as feeling so stuffed, because that could trigger, like you said, a lot of feelings. Avoiding lots of vegetables. Most of us that have been through HA, we really like vegetables. And so, avoiding those for now, temporarily, and air foods like rice cakes or chewing gum to curb appetite. So that often creates a lot of bloat. But a simple mindset shift is, this food is going to help my body be healthy again. So in almost saying that to yourself over and over, or it could be something else that really resonates with you, like, this food is my medicine. And this too shall pass. This feeling of feeling full shall pass. So those are a couple ideas, but I like to tell, all the women out there and clients of mine that this period recovery is like learning a new language. So you're used to practicing this language of diet mentality for however many years. I mean, I've had women 20 plus years, have been thinking a certain way about food and nutrition. And now we're trying to switch this mindset. So it takes a little bit of self-talk and a little bit of repetition to learn this new language of non-diet mentality, and that all foods fit, and that sometimes we have to feel a bit uncomfortable before we can get to, that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah. I definitely resonate with this one a lot. And like, for me, it's like waking up in the morning and still feeling full from last night. I'll be honest, I still struggle all of the time with these thoughts. And I'll be like, when I wake up in the morning, I should feel hungry because I haven't eaten since dinner, but I ate such a big dinner, and so now I don't feel hungry, and so now I'm like anxious about it. So those thoughts of those types of mindset shifts have been really helpful. And like you said, eating more of the smaller but more dense meals is so helpful. And it's funny, everything you said is basically just the opposite of what we have been told to do, right? Eat high volume vegetables so that you get filled up. And, you know, there are a lot of calories for it's a lot of food for not a lot of calories. And yeah, so it's really challenging everyone's beliefs there. I love it. Okay, to go with that one, feeling anxious about not having exercise today, and I guess like leaning on exercise as a stress relief.
Yes, this was an issue for me when I was, knee deep in my exercise addiction, where, oh my gosh, if I didn't exercise, my day was off. And it was stressful. It just set everything off if I didn't get my workout in. But exercise in period recovery is something we need to be super mindful of, that we're not doing a lot of, or the wrong kind, such as HIIT or very high intense cardio. So it's really imperative that we avoid this high intense exercise and also lengthy exercises, because I do encourage women, okay, well, stop the HIIT, try to do, gentle walks. But then I have women that will walk, 6 miles in a day. So really it's not only the intensity, but also the length of the exercise. But like I said, I could totally emphasize that going to the gym, if I didn't get there, my entire day would off. And it was my stress relief. So it was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to de-stress without going to the gym? So really, my approach to that, and what I usually tell women, is that you need to find other things to do to fill your time with a new hobby, and that is a non-movement hobby. And I know at first it's difficult because your life may revolve around going to the gym and exercise, but there are a lot of non-movement activities out there that you can do, such as just relaxing, watching Netflix, calling a friend, hanging out with a friend. So anything like that wouldn't, include a lot of movement. And, for me, I was always a gym goer in the morning. So a new morning routine really helped me. Instead of getting up and going right to the gym, I would sit, read a book, just relax, maybe do some very, very gentle stretching, maybe some meditation. So, that's what helped me. But really, that mindset shift there is that rest is going to get you healthy again, and it's going to help bring your period back. And, saying to yourself, if I rest and I heal my body, I will feel better. And in the future, you can exercise again. So I think a lot of women sometimes get afraid that, they're never going to be able to exercise again. And that's not entirely true. But, is using exercise as stress relief, it's important to find new ways, because the exercise you're doing is causing stress to your body, and your body feels unsafe to turn your hormones back on. So like I said, those tips of mine and that mindset shift is that resting is more doing than you actually think you're doing. And it is so healthy for your body. But at the same time, I know how hard it is to go against society's norms of got to go to the gym every day or got to exercise every day. And right now for you, if you're missing your period, that is not your healthy.
Yeah. All of that resonated deeply with me as well. I feel like I probably have all of these mindsets. And for me, like, to journal down those mindset shifts was always really helpful. So like sit there and be like, I'm feeling, like, writing down, I'm feeling anxious that I haven't exercised today. And I know that this is what I need to do to get my period back. Like bringing it back to your why was so helpful for me. Yeah. I love that one.
And journaling is great too. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I did do a lot of that when I was in recovery as well. So
you have to journal, because you need to be able to like write down and see objectively how crazy you are. Yeah. When you're like, these are my thought patterns. Okay, cool. So how about that moment, or those moments where you put on some of your clothes and you notice they're starting to get a little tight?
Yes, that is a big struggle for so many women, especially going into your closet and, seeing all these clothes that maybe used to fit you, or, people complimented you in. So, that mindset shift there is really letting go of those clothes that no longer fit you. And that, it'll help you back away from the idea that you really belong in them. And clothes are just clothes, and the sizes they put on them, as a society as a whole, we're taught that we need to fit a certain thin ideal. And, when that doesn't happen, we have a million things going off in our head. So, the biggest thing for me, for so many other women that I've worked with or talked with, that getting rid of those clothes that no longer fit and putting them aside, donating them, and, putting clothes on that really make your body feel comfortable. I'll give you an example. For me, when I used to work as a clinical dietitian years ago, and when my work clothes didn't fit me correctly, or they didn't feel that right feeling, they cut around my stomach, or maybe gave me a little bit of an overhang with my belly, that would seriously ruin my whole day. Like, everything would be off. I would be mad at my patients. I would restrict my food because obviously I was gaining weight. So as soon as I got rid of those clothes and I actually put clothes on that made my body feel good, my mindset shifted alone. So I would say the biggest thing to do is, put those clothes away, but don't save them saying, well, I may fit back into them. Get rid of those clothes and donate them, whatever you want to do with them, and get some clothes that make your body feel good.
You're comfortable and you look good in your yoga pants, and if that's what you want to wear, just wear that. Feel good and comfortable above all else.
Yeah,
I love it. Okay.
Exactly.
Snack guilt.
Yes.
Just to put it simply.
So snack guilt. So here's the first thing. No labeling of foods. So that mindset shift there is, food is just food. Okay. Yeah, you can call it a snack, you can call it a meal, but food, at the end of the day, food is just food. So we have in our minds that we can only eat certain foods at certain times. And that isn't true. That's just what our silly head is telling us, that these silly rules we made up. For example, when I used to work a full-time job in clinical, I would have a very regimented snack, and I could only have this many calories, and I can only have it at a certain time. If I got hungry for lunch a bit earlier, well, I couldn't eat my lunch then because it was snack time. Well, first mindset shift, do not label food. If you are hungry, eat. Bottom line. And the more food for you right now, the more your body will begin to heal. So again, that self-talk of, talking back to yourself, or even journaling down, the more food, the more my body will heal. Food is just food. Food is my medicine right now. So, just things like that, and trying to not label that food as anything other than food.
Worrying about the opinions of others and the fit image. So, what is the fit image as well?
Yeah. So often, I was just on the phone with a potential client.
Are you listening to this show hoping to get some golden nuggets to help you on your way to recovery? Well, great. I hope that you find them, because that is exactly what this show is for. But if you really want to take your recovery all the way, completely commit and get on track with your goals, whether they be finally feeling overall healthy, finally getting pregnant, or finally getting back to training, you'll want to join us inside of the HA Society. Not only is this the perfect community to ask questions and get your support and the accountability that you so often need during these uphill battles with body image and understanding nutrition and incorporating exercise, but it's also a hub of exclusive resources for HAs. All of the HA podcast episodes are released in advance and completely ad-free, so you can listen on the go to the raw, unedited versions uninterrupted. All of the one-on-one coaching calls, of which we have 2 a week in different time zones, are uploaded to our private podcast feed so that you can listen to events with practitioners and the past community calls as though they were bonus podcast episodes, because I know how much you love to listen to this kind of stuff. And in these calls, we cover requested topics like overcoming the weight gain fears, communicating with friends and family about our HA, diving into how HA works, and debunking the imposter syndrome that so many of us have around this diagnosis. There's also an entire resources section with lectures, workshops, and training from the past events that are hosted by experts like Sarah Liz King, Laura Lyons, Kaylee McDevitt, Holly Dunn, and many more. As a member, you also get direct access to myself and Coach Ashley in the DMs. So if you have personal questions or need individualized advice about your recovery, we're in there answering your questions in the DMs, as are all of our other members in the group who impress me week after week with how they show up for each other. It's incredible. It's like women are just all becoming mini coaches for each other. It's so good. The HA Society is really the place to be if you're going through recovery, no matter what stage you're at. Whether you have HA or you've got a few recovery periods, we have your back and we're all your new best friends. So come and meet us at thehasociety.com/join. That's thehasociety.com/join, and the link is in the show notes for you. Okay, on with the show.
Client today, and she said, one of the things I'm really worried about is when I go back to work that people have seen that I have gained weight. They know me as so-and-so, the fit girl that, is always working out and is so disciplined, passes up on the office birthday party cake, etc. So, this is so common for so many women. I struggled with this too. I was one of the top female athletes at my CrossFit gym. I thought everyone was going to think, oh my gosh, what happened to Cynthia, or why is she not working out? To my closest friends there, I shared the truth with them. They totally understood. But still, I thought for so long, oh my gosh, what are people going to think if they see I've gained weight? I'm supposed to be this dietitian.
Yeah. Because gaining weight means that like something bad happened in your life.
Yeah.
There's like, yeah.
And so asking yourself, why do other people's opinions matter? So dig deep for a minute and say, why does it matter what others think of me, especially if I'm trying to better myself and get healthy? So, that mindset shift is that most of us have been trained and programmed to think that you are defined by the way you look on the outside, and that whatever you look like on the outside must define the person you really are. And that's not true, because you're so much more than what's on the outside. I bet you're loving, you're caring, you're inspirational. And I know you're a type A perfectionist, because every single HA woman is. So, I know that's a maybe another topic we could talk about another time, Danny, that type A perfectionist. But, thinking, why does my image matter so much to others and to myself, when right now this image is not healthy? I'm not healthy. I'm not getting a period. So, shifting that mindset to how would my life look like if I did have a period and I wasn't, always focused on what I'm going to eat, how I'm going to eat, what time can I eat, and all these other things that are filling up this mental space. So, that is so much more freeing. And once you get there, you will definitely feel the same way.
Yeah. And it's often one of those things where like you usually have this fear of losing your fit image and the opinion of others before you've really taken any actions.
Yes.
And when you start to, your body actually does start to change, or you do start to share what you're doing with others, you are almost always completely surprised by people's reactions. And from my experience personally, my journey of gaining weight, and I have very openly shared my story, and actually what it's done has helped other people.
Yes.
One of my good friends, and her episode comes out soon too, she just got pregnant, and she
Yay.
shares how none of that would have happened if I hadn't introduced this concept and just like screamed about HA from the rooftops to people, for her to look at herself in her fit image and think, oh, I think this is me. And now she's pregnant. Like, me obsessing about being smaller and hiding away, counting all of my calories and binging and restricting and all of that good stuff that comes with it, none of that would have helped a single person. But having already, in the very short period of time we've had this podcast, when we were talking about hobbies earlier, starting hobbies, I took up illustration again, something I told myself I didn't care about anymore because I was like too busy. And those illustrations have changed, thought opinions and thought processes and helped other people. All the things that came out of HA recovery for me have had an impact for the greater good. And all the things I was doing before did nothing for anyone. And it's just like, unfortunately, this is something you need to do in order to see the benefits.
Yes.
But they're there, and I promise everyone that you'll only experience good things from this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Totally.
And you know what? When you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, it sucks. It sucks, right? Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
But,
yes.
I don't know about you, but I wouldn't change my journey for the world, because like you said, now I'm able to help so many women, so many other people, and help those people help other people. My sister-in-law, who struggled from HA, she owns a online cheerleading company, and with over 25,000 followers on her Instagram, she was able to share her story with that whole community. So that, I said, alone, not only have you done your self-service of healing, but all the other women you're impacting is just amazing. And, she finally has come to terms with it, because she was afraid. She was afraid of that, losing that fit image, that nobody would want to do her cheerleading workouts, because she had shared her body image struggles and stuff like that. And she said, oh my gosh, I struggled for so long because I was afraid it would affect my business. But now it's only helped her business.
Yes, and there are many examples of that.
Yeah,
where like fit girl gone, I don't even know what you call it. Fit girl gone, not conventionally fit girl, like fit in a different way girl. Yeah, and it's helped so many people's businesses, because now you're not just promoting your product through the insecurities of others. You're promoting your product through empowering people to move through their insecurities. It's just so much more fulfilling.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Okay, I love it. Sorry about the side tangent there. All right, guys. What about timing of foods and that thought process of, oh, I'm still hungry, but I just ate?
Oh, yes. Another very super, super common. And this was me. This is so many of the women I work with or have talked to. And timing. Okay, so let me just throw this out here really quick. If you had to go to the bathroom, which is a normal biological function, just like hunger is, you had to go to the bathroom. Oh, sorry. It's not time to go to the bathroom yet. You just went to the bathroom. Now, how silly.
Sometimes I do think that.
Right. Well, yeah.
But I still go. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's times I can push the limits and hold it before I actually go, but you eventually, will go. So, not the best analogy, but I think,
No, it is actually, because you think you need to go and you think, oh, that's so weird. Like, you don't have any morals about it. You're like, oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
I need to pee again. What's that about? You go, but you don't have feelings around it.
No, and you definitely don't like have this 10-minute conversation with yourself like, well, I just ate, well, I had a carbohydrate, I can't have a banana because I just had a banana, and before you know it, 10 minutes have passed by. So you definitely don't have to do that, and you don't do that when you have to go to the bathroom.
No.
So again, comparing that bathroom piece to the hunger. So why are we denying our hunger even if we just ate? So, the backstory on that is we've been programmed to, be healthy, to ignore our body's hunger, to chew a piece of gum, to drink water. If the food doesn't fit your criteria or society's criteria of healthy, no, sorry, you can't eat. Way too soon. So hunger is really our way, our body's way of telling us it needs food. So, just like that analogy is said, when we have to go to the bathroom and we're like, okay, I gotta pee, that's our body's way of saying it's time to go to the bathroom. So, hunger is a signal our body sends to us when we need more food. And when you are recovering your period, it doesn't matter if you ate 5 minutes ago. If you feel hungry, you need to act on that, because the more you do that, the more your body is going to trust you to say, all right, I'm getting enough food. And it can slowly get back to trying to turn your hormones back on. So, and that mindset shift there is saying, again, food is my fuel. Food is going to bring me to my, authentic health. Because I think the word health just, sort of gets a little bit crazy, because here we are, all of us trying to be healthy, but we're turning ourselves unhealthy. But that authentic health, to where you are having a period, you feel comfortable around all foods, you feel, exercise is something you do because it feels good for your body, not because you have to do it. So, really, it doesn't matter what time it is. Pay attention to your hunger and not the clock, because it's just your mind that is playing, I guess, if you want to say, games with you. So don't deny that. The less you deny it, the more you will move forward in your period recovery.
Cool. And how about intuitive eating with intentional eating?
Yeah. So I actually just posted on my Instagram not too long ago, like a little Venn diagram of intentional eating with a nutrition plan versus intuitive eating. Because sometimes intuitive eating will get sort of mixed reviews for HA recovery, because during HA recovery, if all we did was listen to our hunger, we may not be getting adequate calories in. So it's important that we also take that intentional hunger into account. So for example, if we went, longer than 3 or 4 hours without eating and we're not hungry, we need to eat. And a lot of times, depending on your history of how you came to have HA in the first place, whether it be, a severe eating disorder, your hunger cues can lie dormant for a while and we can't yet trust them. But the more we do always listen to our body when we're hungry and we intentionally eat to make sure we're getting adequate fuel, the sooner our body can go back to, and us to go back to, completely relying on our hunger and fullness cues.
Yeah, I like this one. I did get a question recently from a girl who was basically like, I want to get to intuitive eating, but every time I go to intuitive eating, I lose my period again. But I'm doing this intentional eating thing. I'm just so stuffed, which, brings us back to that earlier example of stop eating such high volume foods then.
Yes, and take those damn vegetables out of your diet. Not completely. You can still have a little bit, but vegetables, they are very high in volume and not a lot of calories. And I know that's what we were taught to do, but right now that's not your healthy.
Yeah, if eating a bunch of vegetables is super important to you at this stage, maybe make green smoothies that have also got like bananas in them, and
Yes.
eat potatoes, and
Yes, or add lots and lots of butter and cheese to your vegetables.
yeah, well, that sounds, yeah, make them extra tasty.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, let's do one more, which is the big one. It's the big inner dialogue that everyone has. It's the mother of all issues, I think. It's I'm afraid of gaining weight.
Yes. And all those, things we just touched upon are really the underlying factors of, you know, the fear of the weight gain. So, the food timing, the over exercising, the ideal, fit image, all that stuff is because most of us are afraid to gain the weight. And if we're not quite afraid, we do still have a bit of reservations about it. So how do we really get out of that thought process? And that mindset shift is thinking and picturing your dream life versus your dream body. So picture this, you are able to wake up and without even thinking, just go have something to eat. You're not thinking about what it has to be, how much, how many calories, when your next meal is going to be, when you're going to go to the gym, how you're going to burn it off, the dinner that you have planned with your friends tonight. So I could go on and on. All these things that are rattling through your mind. Okay. Then take your dreams and your aspirations. For me, it was becoming a mom one day and, really trying to help other women, heal their missing periods. And I can tell you that none of that would have been possible if I didn't get over that fear of gaining weight and really, dreaming out my dream life versus my dream body. Because like you said before, Danny, when you were, in the thick of it, you were controlling food, et cetera, that didn't benefit anybody, including yourself. So, getting a taste of what that freedom looks like, whether it be having, a pint of ice cream that's been in your freezer that you have, some and you don't feel guilty about it. You're going to a birthday party, for your best friend and she's got your favorite cake that you're able to eat that cake and not have any guilt about it. Those things, those little things add up. And I can promise you that they are that mental space in your dream life is so much more fun and carefree and loving and everything, every other positive, word I can think of, versus having that dream body and societal's ideal of what we're supposed to look like.
Okay. So the shift there is really thinking about, okay, do all of your goals for your body align with all of the goals you have for your life? And which one do you want to put first? It's usually a pretty clear answer because, like, as you were saying, wake up in the morning and you think about what you're going to eat and then how you're going to work it off and that you've got this event tonight. I was so stressed just listening to all of those things. Like, how much time and energy is that taking up in your life? And how can you possibly get anything else of value done?
Yeah. And, to all those mamas to be or women that want to be moms that are having trouble conceiving, I can tell you, healing the underlying issue of my HA before I became a mom has allowed me so much more mental space for my children, be able to really, focus on my baby and not what, society has deemed, because that's another hurdle to jump over where, oh my gosh, I just had a baby. Now I got to fit into my pre-pregnancy genes. No. And then you miss out on that beautiful time of having this newborn that lasts for like 2 seconds. So, that mental space and thinking about all the amazing things that could come out of it, and all the parties maybe you missed or the times with your friends because you had to go to bed early because you had to go to the gym in the morning. So there's so much more to life than worrying about what you're eating, what exercise you're doing, and what your body looks like. And you are so much more than all of that.
So this really brings us to a great point about working with a professional, someone like yourself. There's a lot of options for people, which is a big part of what this show is about. It's about kind of showcasing the different types of professionals that people can work with and figuring out which one sounds like a good fit for you as the listener. But at the end of the day, you could go through and white knuckle it and sit in the discomfort of resting more and eating more and get your period back and success. That's great. But if you haven't done any of the inner work to heal those thought processes, of those hang-ups you have around food and those hang-ups you have around your body, I mean, you kind of set up to one day slip back potentially into this situation, or to just be feeling unhappy in the body that you're in and feeling like you've had to really sacrifice and compromise. And don't get me wrong, like the sacrifice is legitimate, but to be able to come to peace with it, it's just not something that I believe many people can do on their own. And so enlisting the help of a professional, not just to help you, figure out like the foods that are best for you and what your underlying causes are and everything, but to help you when you do eventually heal, to be able to move on in a healthy frame of mind. Yeah. So how can people work with you? Where could they find you? And anything else you wanted to add on to that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Danny. So really, like you had mentioned, it's so amazing that you're showcasing all these professionals, because when you are going to embark on, your period recovery journey and really heal the underlying issues, you really want to feel comfortable with the person that you are working with. So a lot of us, out there, including myself, we offer free discovery calls to where, we talk about your biggest problems. We establish that, relationship to see, are we a good fit together? Because you need to feel comfortable with your practitioner, and you need to feel like you can trust and you can just feel like you can relate to them. Because for many of us, it's like, you almost feel lost during this journey. It's like, I don't really have many people to talk to about this. So, trust and feeling comfortable is important with whoever you do work with. So, and secondly, where you can find me is on Instagram, period.nutritionist. And I also help admin the No Period Now What Facebook group with Dr. Rinaldi, along with some other really amazing young women. So that's another place to find me. And how I typically work with women right now is on a one-on-one basis and through a 3-month, if you want to call it package or subscription, whatever, because I used to offer that just a month to, okay, let's get our periods back. And then I'm like, no, I can't. I'm doing so many women a disservice by not really helping them heal the underlying reason of why their period went missing in the first place and establish a healthy relationship with food and exercise. So after those 3 months, or I've had women work with me longer, that they're able to be self-sufficient and not, have any relapses when it comes to a missing period. So that's right now. In the future, I will be working on group programs to where, you are able to join a community of women just like yourself that are trying to recover their periods. But I do believe I will always offer that one-on-one, because some women just need extra support than other women.
Thank you very much.
Very
That was awesome. This entire conversation has been so great. I hope people got not just some helpful ideas, but also just felt validated that they're not alone with these common thoughts, where we're all struggling. We all have some combination of them. And go check out Cynthia and have a chat with her. She would absolutely love to talk about periods with you more.
Thank you so much for listening today, guys. Please subscribe to the podcast, and if you could head to iTunes specifically and leave a rating or review, that would help so much, because it makes it easier for other people with HA who are Googling around to find the podcast really easily. So if you do that, you're doing a service to all of the women.
Check out the latest footwear innovation from Adidas, the Adizero Adios Pro 2, which features carbon fiber energy rods that are both lightweight and precisely tuned for a more anatomical transition. Everything from the ultra-light polyester upper to the re-sculpted midsole and the reinvented outsoles are designed for speed. Visit adidas.com to learn more today.
Hey, I'm Katie Grossman, a trail and ultramarathon runner sponsored by New Balance. I'm also a creative professional, wife to my life and running partner, Dominic, and a very proud mom of 2 girls. Life has gotten a little crazy, especially after battling postpartum injury and an abdominal tumor. but running is still a huge part of my identity, and it legitimately improves my mental health. I'm working my way back to racing, but for now, I'm still finding peace on the trail. Go beyond the run at newbalance.com.